Hello, my name's Bob Willoughby and I do the local voter education program. And what I want to reflect on here, because everything we put out is always negative, there's nothing good to put out. I wish we had a mayor that put out something good. We could put out something good, but nothing negative. So what I really want to do is try to back off a little bit and get people to try to put a perspective to things. I mean, you take life for granted. Everybody takes the gift of life for granted. It's like being on a conveyor belt. When you're born, you ride through the life on the conveyor belt and then you go off. So you're only here for a period of time, then you're gone. No getting around it. Okay. So to me, I think it's all a test on what you do here. So it's up to each person to figure out why we're here or what. But anyway, try to put things in more of a perspective to bring people more back to reality maybe. Is when you see our planet from Mars and you can see all that deep dark space behind it and how small we are, and we're floating out here on this rock or this round planet here in the middle of just endless billions of miles of space, and here we are. Okay, so I'd really like for you to get a reflection on where we're at. This is us right here. This is you. We're real small. I'd like for the mayor to maybe see that, realize that she's not the, our God or anything like that, that she's no more than just a little bitty speck like we are. But one reason I wanted to show this was that if the people on this planet would work on exploring space, there are billions of planets out there to explore. Endless, I believe. Endless work, endless adventures. Just totally, instead of like Iran wanting to build nuclear weapons, and we had to, across this country, we had to keep building more weapons, drones and stuff. We spent all this money on defense fighting each other, and people keep taking from one another here on this little ball, this little herb. I want you to see it from a distance so you can see where we're at here. So if we quit fighting with each other and all the countries came together and started focusing outwards, just think how fast we could accelerate space travel and move forward. And no doubt in my mind out there, there's going to be bad things, good things, just like what we learned here. I think this is kind of to prepare you for whatever, too. And I believe in the next realm of life, how you do here is where you go to, you reap what you sow. So, but yeah, there's just endlessly galaxies, planets, and stuff like that. There's just no telling what all to be discovered out there. And I'll tell you, this is not far-fetched at all. This is not make-believe or fantasy or anything. It should be, well, it's very possibly, and I don't see why it wouldn't be. There may be planets out there with dinosaurs on them and habitation. Maybe the size of Jupiter, big planets, bigger than Earth. Earth wasn't big enough to sustain these kind of animals. Maybe there is a planet out there that is harvesting right now with dinosaurs on it. Very possible. Now that's not fake. There's bones here. They lived once on this planet and moved around here. So I'm not talking about Martians that we hadn't seen, which I don't doubt there's probably Martians out there too, but we hadn't got any of those to really. But we do have dinosaurs. And there's just no reason in the world why it couldn't be duplicated on another planet a billion miles away from here. So that's why it'd be so cool to start adventuring space to see what's out there. And we can do it so much better instead of fighting. And the resources here are going to run out, no doubt about it. We're overpopulating this planet, no doubt about it. I mean, it doesn't take the IQ of a 5-year-old to figure this out. You can look at a phone book from in the 60s when I was growing up, and on the front page, or you open it up page, it had all the area codes for different states. And basically one area code for almost every state. Arkansas had one area code, Oklahoma had one area code for the whole state. We might have had a couple, and some of the bigger ones might have had, I can't remember exactly. But now, look at how many area codes. And then in the 60s, you only dial or up to the 70s, 7 digits to make a phone call. Not 10, 7. You didn't have to put the 817 first. You just dialed the 7 numbers. So we're growing, we're populating constantly. In spite of war, in spite of natural causes and death and diseases and what have you to take people out, we're still overpopulating. So if we had some educated people in charge of this world, we put them in there, and that comes back down to us, where we start at. And where it starts at, it's your home, your city, and your mayor. This is where the birth of corruption starts at. This is where the birth of corruption, right downtown at City Hall, that's where it births, right there. And so you have to have a good mayor so it don't birth here, you know, but it is growing here greatly. But anyway, that's my point of view. I'd like to make out, kind of get you to kind of take a look at things and not take them all for granted so much. There's more to life than just your job and your material things, because all the material things stay right here. You don't take them with you. You know, no matter how much you got, you're no better than the next person, except for how you behave, maybe. A clip. I don't know if YouTube will, if it'll pass the copyright or not. It's Stephen Fry. He's from England, and he was in Australia doing a stand-up or an event. And I pulled this out. I had to film this. I screenshot it. I want to put it on YouTube and share it with you, because I really found this kind of helps you bring you back down to earth too. And we'll play that one there and that. So it's a few minutes long, but I think you might find it interesting if you follow it all the way through.
I was talking to someone about doing this, and they said, "Oh, I do envy you." And their surname, for the sake of argument, was Clark. And they said, "You know, there have been Clarks in my part of Yorkshire for 300 years." And I thought, what a peculiar thing to say, and I'll tell you why it's peculiar. It's because, as you probably know, our surnames in our culture are based on the surnames of our father, whose surname is based on his father's surname, and so on. But it doesn't take too much for us to recognize that we have 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents, 32 great-great-great-grandparents, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, 2048, 4096, and so on. And then in a few generations, you have tens of thousands of ancestors, each one of whom is as responsible for your existence as the other. Go back in time and pluck one of them out of history, and you cannot exist. And only one out of 4,096 has that surname that you think is somehow who you are. But who you are is a vast panoply of people, so much so that if any of you has English or indeed Scottish blood in your veins, then you must be related to Henry IV, because you have more ancestors going back then than the population of Britain. So all I really wanted to say at the outset is hello, brothers and sisters. It's that simple.
Okay. Well, subscribe to my channel, if you will, and it's at B.Willoughby.1 YouTube. And, you know, if we can get more subscribers, that might help us get up to a point to start getting some money in and share more information. That's not hard to do, is it? So anyway, I hope that interview with Stephen, that made sense to you, and that. So, well, the next video will be, I'll guarantee you, will be real negative. No problem.